There is coordination among all the departments. The controllers of almost all the departments who are directly concerned with the train operations, they are present in the control office round the clock. Then there are emergency rescue and relief operations, which are planned in case of any emergency, in case of any accident, and they are executed also by the control office. Now, the basic structure of operating control on Indian Railways exists at the divisional level. It is the basic control office. The basic, you can say the basic unit or the basic control office is in the division, which has also been extended to area control levels. There may be some area controls also, which may be kind of sub-control headed by some area officer or some area manager. In addition, central control office is situated in the headquarters office and one at railway board. So there are central control offices at headquarters, that is the zonal headquarters, and at railway board level. The area spread of a division is divided into control sections, each section having a given number of stations. So the division is further divided into sections. And those sections, each section is having a control, it is controlled by a different controller, which are called section controllers. And there are different boards for the section controller for the charting of trains. And each section is having a certain number of stations, which are to be controlled by that section controller. The two-way telephone system, also called an omnibus circuit, which permits all stations to have direct communication with section controller, who is responsible for train regulation in his area. So there is a two-way telephone system, so that the section controller can control with each and every station of his section. So all the stations and the section controller, they are connected by a two-way telephone system. It is an omnibus circuit. And the section controller can have direct communication with all these stations who are responsible for train regulation in his. The section controller can speak to all stations at the same time or to one station selectively using individual number or buttons. So either the section controller can give a general ring to all the stations and can talk to all the stations simultaneously, or if he wants to speak to a station selectively, then he can give an individual ring. There are individual numbers and buttons for each station. So a station can be called individually and there can be one-to-one communication between that station and the section control. The movement of trains is plotted on a time distance graph to record their actual progress. These records, called control charts, can be analyzed later. So all the movement of trains, they are plotted on a graph, which is a time distance graph. Time is on x-axis and distance is on y-axis. And these graphs, they are called control charts, and all the movements of all the trains in that section, they are recorded in the chart, and the movements are analyzed later. To guide and assist the section controller, there are shift deputy controllers. So to assist the section controllers and to provide any necessary assistance and guidance, there are deputy controllers in the control office in each shift. That means that is round the clock. All technical disciplines involved in train movement have a representative in the control office to provide the required support from his department. So all the technical disciplines which are connected with train operations, they have their own controllers in control office, and they provide support to the operating control or the traffic control from their from their respective. These would be motive power controller. Motive power controller takes care of all the locomotives. There may be a diesel power controller. There may be electrical locomotive controller also. So, if the traction in the division is electric, then it will be electric loco controller. Or if there is no electric traction, only diesel traction is there, then there will be diesel power controller. There will be traction power controller in case of electrified sections. So this traction power controller will be taking care of all the OHEs. All the OHE lines, their maintenance, their monitoring, if there is any failure, that will be taken care of by the traction power controller. Then there is a signaling and telecommunication controller for all these signals throughout the division and all the telecommunication equipments, their maintenance, monitoring, failures, etc. They are supervised by the signaling and telecommunication. Then there is a commercial controller for all the commercial activities in the division. All the commercial staff working, all commercial activities required to be carried out, they are supervised by commercial controller. Then there is a security controller also who takes care of all the security aspects. Any theft of goods, any law and order issues, all those issues pertaining to security of passengers as well as railway assets, they are taken care of by the security controller. Then there is a C&W control. C&W is carriage and wagon. So if there is any, if there are any issues regarding maintenance of coaches, maintenance of wagons, or any failures regarding coaches and wagons, then the C&W control provides the necessary guidance, supervision, and is in touch with the concerned C&W depots of the division. Then there is an engineering control also who provides supervision to the engineering staff. He takes care of all the engineering works which are being carried out, like various blocks taken for track machines. Then any movement of material trains may be there. Then any speed restrictions may be required to be imposed in case of any work going on in a section. All those things, they are monitored by engineering control. The entire organization works round the clock all days of the year without any interruption to monitor the movement of trains on the entire network. So the entire control organization is working round the clock and throughout the year. So there is no break in between. Control organization will keep on working. There is no break in between. Even day and night, all the controllers are working to monitor the movement of trains on the entire Indian Railways. What are the basic functions of control? Train control. Supervising and regulating movement of trains from station to station on the section and to avoid delay to trains and to maximize utilization of the capacity of section. So basically supervising and regulating movement of all trains from station to station on the section and to avoid any abnormal delay to the train. There should not be any unwanted or unnecessary detention to the trains. Capacity of the section should be utilized to the maximum extent possible. Now, this is done by monitoring movement of trains from station to station and recording paths and detention on chart. All the movement of trains from each station to another station, their paths are recorded, and all the detentions, if there are any detentions to the trains anywhere, they are recorded on the chart. Then arranging crossing and precedences of train judiciously. If any crossings are required, in case of single line sections, there may be trains arriving from opposite direction also. So such trains, for such trains, some crossings have to be arranged at any station. So these crossings and precedences are arranged in case any fast moving train, if it is following a slow moving train, then it has to overtake that train at some station. So accordingly, crossings and precedences have to be arranged, and they have to be arranged judiciously in such a manner that the detentions to the trains are minimum. Then arranging working of departmental and material trains. Lot of departmental trains may be plying in the division. Material trains like ballast trains, sleeper trains, trains carrying rails, etc. So these trains, departmental and material trains, their working is also required to be controlled by control office. Then giving time signal to all stations on the section daily at appointed time. So the clock in the control office and the clock at the stations, it has to be matched daily. There should not be any difference in the clock which is available at various stations of the division and the clock which is there in the control office. So in order to match the timing in all the clocks, a control ring is given by the control office to all the stations at a particular time. Generally, it is 16 hours. So at that time, a time ring is given by the section controller to all the stations, and all the stations at that time will match their clock as per the timing given by the control office. So that all the clocks they work in synchronization. There is no difference in timings between any of the two stations and the control office. Then fulfilling interchange commitment. What is interchange? I must have explained you about interchange in the session on freight train operations. So the interchange is the handing over and taking over of trains in the adjacent division or railways. So we are making some commitment every day in the morning with the adjoining division or the adjoining railway about the number of trains which will be handed over or which can be taken over during the course of day. That commitment has to be fulfilled. So it is an important function of control office to fulfill all the interchange commitments, particularly regarding the freight trains. Then arranging proper movement of assisting, banking, light engines. In case any power fails in a section between two stations, suppose a locomotive gets defective and it fails, it cannot pull the train. Then an assisting locomotive has to be sent from the adjoining station so that the train can clear the block section. So such assistant locomotives, they are arranged by the control office and sent in case of any loco failure. Then some banking locomotives may also be required. What is banking? On up gradients. If there is any up gradient in the section and the locomotive which is carrying a train gets stalled and the train is not able to move, is not able to negotiate the up gradient and it gets stalled, then another locomotive is sent in the section for banking purpose so that sufficient tractive effort can be provided to the train and it can clear the section with the up gradient. So that is the purpose of banking locomotive. Now light engines are the engines which are running without any road connected to them. They are not having any ray connected to them. They are just running alone. So all these movements, they are arranged by the control office. Then clearance of sick wagons from roadside stations. There may be some sick wagons lying at roadside stations, like wagons which may be defective due to hot axle or spring broken. So such sick wagons which are lying at roadside stations, that is the roadside stations are the stations between any two junction stations. So such roadside stations having sick wagons, All these sick wagons will be cleared from those stations and they will be taken to a yard or a big terminal where there is sick line, and so that all these sick wagons can be attended there. Then arrangement of relief for 10 hours duty staff. The running staff or the crew or guard, if they are completing 10 hours duty, then their relief arrangement has to be made. Some other crew or guard has to be provided because they are about to complete their duty hours. Some other crew and guard will be provided as a relief arrangement to the working crew and guard, so that they are not so that they do not perform duty for more than 10 hours. Incident management on rail network and at station. So if there is any incident which may be due to equipment failure or any accident or any abnormal weather condition, so all such incidents, if there are any abnormal incidents on the railway network or at any particular station, such incidents are managed by control office, and what kind of operations are required to be carried out during that incident, they are decided and carried out by control office. Then arranging engineering and or power blocks in such a way as to involve minimum disturbance to train running. So whatever blocks are required to be given to engineering department for the maintenance of track and other infrastructure like bridges or any other infrastructure, or if any power blocks are required for maintenance of OHE, that is the overhead electric line, then in such case, these blocks are provided to the concerned department for maintenance in such a way that it involves minimum disturbance to train running. The train running should not be disturbed while giving blocks for the maintenance of track, OHE. Maintaining fluidity of yards by controlling the flow of stock in and out of yard. So there may be major yards in the division, and it is the important function of control office to maintain fluidity in the yard by controlling that how much stock is coming in the yard and how much stock is going out of the yard, so that the yards are not congested, they have enough room available, and the fluidity required for moving of trains, receiving trains, dispatching trains, and any shunting required. So that fluidity should be there in the yard. Arranging speedy relief in case of accidents. In case there is any accident, then speedy relief and rescue arrangements are required to be carried out, and that arrangement is done by the control office. It is planned and executed by control office. Now, traffic control. Traffic control is the general and overriding control for supervision of the movement of goods and coaching traffic on the section. So whatever goods and coaching traffic is moving on a section, it is supervised by the traffic control. It is exercised by collecting information from the various stations on the section in respect of. So all the relevant information is collected from various stations regarding registration for wagons outstanding at stations and arrangement for supply of wagons. So there may be demands at the stations for loading of wagons. So if a consignor wants to load any commodity and send it to some destination, then it has to register an indent at the station for the supply of wagons. So such indents which are registered at the stations, how many such indents are outstanding, that information is frequently given by the stations to the control office, and the control office arranges supply of wagons against those pending indents at the station. The number of wagons loaded and empty wagons of the rakes awaiting dispatch. So how many wagons have been loaded at various freight terminals, sidings, etc., and how many empty wagons or rakes are available in yards which are awaiting dispatch? This position is also collected by the control office from the various stations. Then arranging, running, regulation, putting back, and cancellation of trade, both freight and coaching. So if there is any incident or any accident, then uh, there may be some special stocks running. There may be some regulation of trains required. Some trains may be required to be put back. Put back means their departure time will be rescheduled. So that is called putting back of the train. If the departure time of a train is rescheduled, the train is said to be put back. And cancellation of train, the trains may require to be cancelled because of any equipment failure, any unusual incident, or any accident. So all the freight and coaching decision of cancellation, diversion, putting back, regulation of all the freight and coaching trains is taken by control office. Then securing maximum loads for train. It is the job of control office to ensure that the trains are running with the maximum load. They should not run under load because that will be inefficient. If a train is running under load, that is not with not sufficient wagons or coaches connected to it, then it is wasting a path. It is wasting a locomotive, crew, guard, because it is carrying less than its optimum capacity. So it is desirable that all the trains they should run at the maximum load. Collecting stock position from the different stations, marshalling and terminal. What is stock position? The number of wagons available. The number of wagons, their types, their condition, whether they are loaded, unloaded, whether they are fit or sick, which type of wagon, open, covered, tank wagons. So different types of such wagons, the number of such wagons at a station, in a marshalling yard or at any freight terminal or a siding, all the stock position is taken by the control office. Then arrangement of crew and guard for freight trains. The freight trains, they have to be planned daily. So the locomotive is required to be arranged for moving a freight train. And after arranging locomotive, a crew and guard has to be provided for running the train. So that arrangement is done by control office in consultation with the lobby. There is a lobby for the management of crew and guard, which is called an integrated crew and guard lobby. And that lobby provides crew and guard to the for the movement of freight trains as per the planning of control office. To keep liaison with adjoining railways and divisions for interchange commitments. So I told you about interchange, handing over and taking over of trains with the adjoining divisions and railways. So those commitments, they have to be fulfilled by the division, and for that continuous liaising is required with the adjoining division of the railway. And that is the function of control office, to keep liaison with the adjoining railway or the division for maintaining the interchange commitment. Then monitoring and coordinating working of yards, food shed sidings, cocoa shed, TXR depots, etc. So all the working of yards, whatever shedding activities are being carried out there, whatever trains are being formed there, whatever trains are received there. So whatever is the working of yard, maybe there may be some train examinations also. So working of yards, good sheds, the good shed activities like loading, unloading, removal, placement. Then loco sheds, maintenance of locomotives, loco going in, loco coming out. Then TXR depots where all the train examinations are carried out. Then detachment of sick wagons, attachment of fit wagons in view of them. All these activities are monitored and coordinated by the control office. And supervision of stock control. What wagons are required to be supplied at which stations for loading? What wagons are required to be asked from adjoining divisions? What empty wagons are required to be dispatched to the adjoining divisions or railways for their use? So the entire stock control is supervised by traffic control. Then arranging supply of vehicles again pending registration. Whatever demands, whatever intents are pending in the division, they have to be supplied with the required number of wagons. So that supply of vehicles against the pending demands of the consignors for loading of a particular commodity at various freight terminals. So these supply of wagons is arranged by traffic control. Then securing optimum utilization of the stock with minimum detention. The stock, whatever wagons, coaches, locomotives, they are part of the stock. So their detention should be minimum. And the stock, that is the available wagons, coaches, they should be utilized to the maximum extent. There has to be optimum utilization of all the rolling stock. So it is ensured by traffic control. To ensure optimum utilization of loco and staff, the locomotive and the staff also, the running staff, they should also be optimally utilized. They should not be wasted anywhere. To arrange ART and crane from adjoining railway division in case of accidents and other coordination. So if any ART and crane is required from other division, all divisions, they are having their own ART and crane. Most of the divisions, they have their own ART and crane. However, in case of any major accident, one ART or one crane may not be sufficient to for restoration to be done timely. So, for assistance, an ART is an accident relief train. So, an accident relief train may be asked from other division or other railways along with crane for restoration in case of major accidents. So that arrangement and coordination is also done by traffic control. Then there is a power control in the control office. The power control is responsible for provision of motive power to all trains. Yes, please. So Vashish Kumar, you want to ask any question?
Sorry, sir, there was some connection problem, so it got unmuted.
Okay. Keep it in, on mute, okay?
अनम्यूट हो गया इससे
Mr. Suyash Yadav.
Sir, the number of control of offices that we discussed so far, is there any order of precedence among them as to like one of them will override the other?
Sorry, I can't hear you. Can you speak loudly? I'm not able to hear you. Or you can write your question in the chat box. You can write your question in the chat box. I'll answer in the end. Okay? The power control is responsible for provision of motive power to all trains by maintaining position of locomotive. So all the locomotives which are available in the division, their condition, their types, their hauling capacity, etc., it is maintained by the power control, and it is responsible for provision of locomotives in all the trains, suitable locomotives for all the trains. Its function is to requisition engines from loco sheds for all operating requirements, train working, shunting, banking, etc. So the required number of locomotives, they are requisitioned from the locomotive sheds for these various operating requirements like train working, shunting, banking. I told you what is banking. So all the locomotive requirements, they are kept in mind by the power control, and accordingly the concerned locomotive shed is asked to supply locomotive, or the locomotive may be coming from other divisions. So if there is any shortage, then locomotive may be asked from the locomotive shed, where generally there are locomotives available for maintenance, etc. Then ensuring most economical use of engines by close supervision both in traffic yards and sheds. all the engines, they have to be economically utilized. The engines are very costly asset. They cannot be wasted. So they have to be properly utilized by close supervision in traffic yards and sheds, and that is the function of power controller. Ensuring the return of engines to home sheds at regular intervals for servicing and maintenance. So there are certain schedules, there are certain dates which are fixed for the maintenance of locomotive. These are called the maintenance schedule of the locomotive. So as per that schedule, the engines have to be returned to the home shed for servicing and maintenance, and that periodicity has to be maintained. So it is the duty of power controller to ensure that all the locomotives they are returned to the respective shed, to their respective shed for servicing and maintenance as per their schedule dates. Ensuring an even balance of engines and crews between running sheds for meeting demands of traffic. So engine and crew, their balance has to be maintained. As per the availability of engines, the crew should also be available, uh, which is ensured by the power controller to meet the traffic demand. Whatever the demands for freight traffic, for passenger traffic is there, as per that requirement, the locomotives and the crew, they should be available. Ensuring that light engine kilometers is kept to the minimum. Light engine running should be minimum because it is not desirable. Any engine which is not moving without a load, that is only wasting a power, it is wasting fuel, and it is not generating any revenue. So light engine running should be minimum, and light engine kilometers should be kept to the minimum is to be ensured by the power control. Then providing guidance to running staff for troubleshooting. Now, the running staff, that is the crew or guard, if they are running in a train, then they may be facing some problem in the locomotive. So, to provide guidance for troubleshooting, if there is any problem in the locomotive, the power controller provides the necessary guidance to the crew of the crew which is traveling in the locomotive. Actually, the power controller, they are the loco pilots and assistant loco pilots only originally, and after promotion, they become power controller. So they come from the cadre of loco pilots and assistant loco pilots only. So they are very experienced. The power controllers, they are very experienced, and they can guide the loco pilots and assistant loco pilots, that is the crew working in the field, in case any troubleshooting is required in any locomotive. Then carriage and wagon control. The carriage and wagon control is responsible to assist the train and traffic control and to ensure timely examination and fitness of all the trains. So all the trains which require any examination, it has to be ensured timely, and it has to be ensured that all the trains, whether coaching trains or goods trains, they are fit in all respect and fit to run. To keep a watch over the detachment of sick wagons, coaches, and to arrange for their early repair and fitness. So, if there are any sick wagons or coaches anywhere in the division, uh, their movement to the sick line is arranged, and it is necessary instructions are given to the CNW depots or the sick lines for their early repair and fitness, so that they can be made fit as soon as possible. Just a minute. All right. अच्छा sorry, हाँ. keep a watch over the detachment of sick wagons and coaches and arranging for their early repair and fitness, the carriage and wagon control takes the necessary action. Then keeping a watch over availability of vital C&W components like air hoses, washers, clamps, etc., and efficient working of equipments and machines in C&W depot to avoid any detention to trains. All the equipment which are available in a C&W depot or a sick line, like air hoses for coupling between wagons. Hello. Yes.
Yeah, proof. ਹੋ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਰੋਜ਼ ਦੇ ਕੰਢੇ ਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਚੁੱਭਦੇ ਨੀ ਉਦੋਂ
So
ਜੱਟ
the
ਦਾਰੂ ਦੇ
working of
ਸਮੁੰਦਰ
various
ਚ
equipments and
ਡੁੱਬਦੇ
machines in the C&W depots and sick lines, they are also ensured by the carriage and wagon control. To keep a watch over placement of wagons, coaches in sick line and their release. So, if any wagons or coaches are required to be placed in sick line, which are in sick condition and which require any repairs, then they have to be promptly placed in the sick line. And from the sick line, after repairs, they are released back. And after making them fit, they have to be sent for use in the used by traffic department. So that process, the placement of wagons in the sick line and the removal from sick line of the fit wagons after they are made fit, that is monitored by carriage and wagon control. And to keep account of detention to trains on C&W account and take remedial action. So in case any trains are getting detained because of any defect in coaches or wagons, then that account has to be kept by C&W control. And if any remedial action is required, that has to be taken by them. To provide guidance to running staff for troubleshooting. So if a train is moving in a section and there is any problem in any coach or any wagon, then in the train only running staff is there, that is the crew and guard. So if any guidance is required for troubleshooting in a coach or wagon, that guidance is provided by the carriage and wagon control to the running staff. For electrical multiple units, this function is performed by EMU control. What are electrical multiple units? I told you about electrical multiple units in the earlier session. Electrical multiple units are, if you have seen the Mumbai suburban trains, it consists of electrical multiple units. There are units of 3 coaches basically, and these three the 3 units in an electrical multiple unit, they are having their independent traction. So these electrical multiple units, they are mostly used either in suburban trains or in passenger trains which may be plying on mainline. So there is a separate EMU controller in the control office for the monitoring of such trains and their issues like maintenance issues, their repairs, failures, etc. Then monitoring the movement of POH due stock to workshop. POH is periodical overhauling. Any stock which is due for periodical overhauling. There is a certain frequency for each type of stock. For periodical overhauling, that the stock will be subjected to periodical overhauling after maybe after 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years for each type of stock, such frequency is decided. So as per that frequency, the stock, whatever it may be, is sent for periodical overhauling to the workshop, the concerned workshop, and that movement is monitored by carriage and wagon control. Then there is a commercial control also. The commercial control assists the traffic and train control to expeditiously dispose of unclaimed and unconnected wagons or parcel consignments. So what are unclaimed wagons or parcel consignments? Unclaimed are those wagons and parcel consignments whose consignees have not turned up to claim their delivery. There may be some wagons or parcel consignments for which no consignee has turned up to take the delivery. And there may be some unconnected wagons also, or unconnected parcels also, on which the labels or the seals, they have been damaged during the transit, maybe because of rain or any other reason. And it is not known that who is the consignee of those wagons or those parcels. Such unconnected and unclaimed parcels, they are disposed by commercial control. Then to keep a watch on detention to trains on commercial account, like alarm chain pulling, carriage watering, parcel working, etc., and take remedial measures. So alarm chain pulling is done in coaches generally for any emergency purpose. It is for only emergency purposes. But in case it is being misused and it is there is frequent alarm chain pulling in any of the coaches, then it is watched by commercial control, and appropriate staff, maybe the security staff, the RPF staff, they are informed about it to take suitable action. And carriage watering, if any water is required to be filled in the coaches, water may be exhausted in some of the coaches during run of a train, and that filling of water en route in coaches is arranged by commercial control. Then parcel working, that is loading and unloading of parcels. There may be many stations where parcels are loaded and unloaded. So such parcel working is monitored by commercial control. To ensure quick transshipment of sick wagons by arranging matching stock and labor. So if any wagon, any loaded wagon, if it is getting sick en route, then that loaded wagon is detached at any roadside station, and an empty wagon is supplied of the same type, so that the commodities which are there in the loaded wagon, they can be transferred to the empty wagon which is fit, and the loaded wagon which was sick after the transshipment of commodities, it can be sent to the sick line for repairs. So arranging labor and the matching stock for transshipment, that is also function of commercial control. To keep a watch over submission of station returns. Various station returns are to be submitted regarding sales of ticket, number of passengers, parcels booked, all the commercial activities. Some returns are prepared at these stations. The timely submission of those returns, the preparation and submission of those returns is watched by commercial control. The monitoring of public complaints lodged at the many public complaints are lodged by passengers or any other rail users at the stations. Those public complaints, whether they have been timely disposed or not, their monitoring is done by commercial control. Then to ensure proper maintenance of public amenities available at the stations, whatever public amenities, passenger amenities like water coolers, fans, display boards, platform shelters, taps, benches, etc. Whatever amenities are available at these stations, whether they are in proper condition and able to be used by the passengers or not, their condition is periodically checked by commercial control, and if there is any problem anywhere, it is reported to the concerned staff. Any other job are interested by senior DCM or DCM. The senior divisional commercial manager or the divisional commercial manager, if entrusts any job to the commercial control that is also performed by it. Then there is a traction power controller which is provided to assist the traffic and train control for arranging maintenance blocks for OHE. So if the overhead electric line it requires any maintenance blocks, they are arranged by traction power control. Then arranging alternate power supply in case of tripping, etc. If the OHE is tripped, then arranging alternate power supply, that is done by traction power control. Then monitoring OHE failures and taking remedial action. Whatever failures of OHE are there, they are monitored, and any remedial action required is monitoring detention of trains on OHE accounts, that is done. Then guiding running station staff in troubleshooting. So if there is any problem in OHE which can be for which troubleshooting can be done by the running or station staff, then necessary guidance is provided by traction power control. The engineering control monitors imposition and cancellation of engineering restrictions, working of track machines, and monitoring integrated maintainable blocks. The function of engineering control is to monitor the imposition and cancellation of engineering restrictions, which may be there due to any work being carried out on track in any section. So the imposition of speed restrictions, working of track machines, and monitoring of the integrated maintainable blocks is done by engineering control. To coordinate works during maintenance blocks. So whatever works which are being carried out during maintenance blocks, they are coordinated and monitored. Then running of material trains. If any material is required like ballast, sleeper, rails, etc., then running of material trains is required, which is monitored by engineering. Then there is a signal control also, which assists the traffic and train control and is responsible to keep a watch over the SMT failures. Whatever signaling and telecommunication failures are there, they are monitored, and if any remedial action is required, it is. Then to ensure efficient working of communication channels. If there are some telecommunication channels in the division, there must be. So whether they are working properly, if there is any problem, it is taken care of by the SMT. Then there is a security control also, which is responsible for prevention of theft of property. The theft of property may be of passengers or it may be theft of railway property. So to prevent any theft of railway property or passengers property, security control takes necessary action and it assists passengers in trains as well as stations. The main functions of traffic control are continuous supervision of the movement of all traffic in the controlled area with a view to achieve maximum possible operating efficiency. So how can we achieve maximum possible operating efficiency? By running maximum traffic out of the available resources. Whatever resources like locomotive, crew, guard, the paths are available, based on those resources, how much maximum traffic can be run, that will be our operating efficiency, which is required to be maximized. Then systematic maintenance of accurate charts of train movements and arrangements of crossings and precedents to the greatest advantage. So all the crossings and precedences are to be arranged so that there are minimum detention to the trains. We'll get the greatest advantage if there is minimum detention to the trains. Analysis of all detentions to the trains. Then planning, ordering and running of goods trains to the best possible paths. Goods trains should be run on such paths so that their detentions are minimum. They are not detained heavily at any of the stations and their mobility is good. And maintaining the fluidity of marshalling yards, freight terminals. The marshalling yards and freight terminals should not be congested with the excessive number of wagons. Taking remedial action in the event of yard terminal congestion. If the yard and terminal, if any of the yards or terminals is congested, then remedial action has to be taken. Some stock has to be cleared out of that yard so that the yard or the terminal becomes light and there is fluidity in the yard or terminal. Then elimination of avoidable detentions to goods stock at loading and unloading points and at transshipment stations. So any avoidable detention to goods stock at loading unloading point at transshipment. Transshipment station is a station where the goods may be transshipped to, say, from broad gauge to meter gauge. If the destination is on some other gauge, then all the goods may be transferred from meter gauge to broad gauge, vice versa. So such transshipment stations or the loading and unloading points, they should not have any abnormal detentions to the goods stock. Then allotment of distribution of goods stock to stations as per the demand available. Whatever demand of loading, whatever demand for loading are available at the stations, the goods stock has to be allotted and distributed accordingly. Supply of information to adjoining controls, terminals, engine changing stations regarding the movement of trains to enable adequate timely arrangements for their reception and onward dispatch. So all the movement of trains, they have to be informed to the adjoining control. Adjoining control means the adjoining divisions. They have to be informed about the movement of trains so that they can make timely arrangements for the reception of such trains. And arranging of engineering and other department blocks with minimum detention to traffic. Running of material trains and other track machines, tower wagons, etc. So whatever material trains, track machines, tower wagons are there for maintenance of OHE. So their running is also done by control office. Arranging relief for engine crews and guards, relief arrangements are required to be made. Ensuring maximum utilization of locomotives. All the locomotives available, they should be utilized to the maximum extent possible. No locomotive should remain idle. Issuing instructions for train working in case of equipment failures or whenever abnormal methods of working have to be resorted to. So whenever there is any equipment failure or there may be some abnormal conditions like abnormal weather conditions, foggy weather, rainy weather, etc. So during those abnormal conditions, some instructions are required to be issued to the stations and the train working staff. Accordingly, the instructions are issued by the control office to all concerned, which are to be followed. PD arrangements for relief, rescue, and restoration in the event of any accident. If there is any accident, then the relief, rescue, and restoration has to be carried out speedily. To assist in the realistic planning of timetables and punctual running of passenger. The punctuality of all passenger trains is also monitored by control office. And the draft timetable at the divisional level is prepared by a controller in the control office, which is then sent to the headquarter office for further consideration and then to the apex level, that is the railway board level, for the final timetable. To keep a watch over damaged stock at roadside stations, yards and sick lines, and to ensure that they are promptly attended. So whatever damaged stock or sick stock, damaged stock may be due to an accident. If due to any accident, any wagon or any coach is getting damaged, so it has to be promptly attended to and sent to the sick line for maintenance or repair. To rectify immediately the irregularities on part of the line staff and to provide them necessary guidance. If the line staff, that is the station staff or the yard staff or the staff at the terminals, if they have conducted any irregularity, then they have to be guided that what course of action is required to be taken so that such irregularities are not repeated. To provide operations management information. Whatever management information is required by the officers of all the departments, that operations management information is provided by controller. To ensure smooth functioning of voice and other IT. So there are a lot of IT applications which are used in operations. We'll be discussing about these IT applications in the next session. One of them is Freight Operating Information System. So all these IT applications, their smooth functioning has to be ensured by control office. An important function of the control office is planning, execution, and review of freight operations with all the three activities going on simultaneously. The planning, execution, and review of all the freight operations has to be done by control office simultaneously. The planning is aimed at forecasting and optimizing the following. Interchange. The interchange has to be forecast. There is an interchange forecast in the morning and it has to be materialized during the course of the day. The trains to be section wise, the number of trains which are planned in a section, they are also decided and accordingly it has to be materialized during the course of the day that so many trains should run in the section. The supply of rakes for bulk loading. If any loading is required at any terminal, then concerned rakes, the empty rakes available, they have to be supplied for it. Release of inward loaded rakes placed for unloading. If any rakes have been placed for unloading, so after unloading, those empty rakes, they have to be dispatched to the other location where they may be loaded or to the adjoining division of railway. Then information regarding the following items is generally required for the purpose. Analysis of division wagon holding. It is done that how much wagons are available in the division. Power availability, how many locomotives are available. Availability of loads. Loads means the loaded trains. Whatever loaded trains or loaded rakes are available, that has to be seen. Then disposal of empty rakes. If any empty rakes are generated after unloading, or if they are received from any adjoining division of railway, their disposal has to be done. But where will those empty rakes be supplied? They may either be supplied for loading or they may be sent to some other division. Demands for loading. So, whatever demands for loading are available, that information has to be collected and accordingly the planning of stock has to be done that so and so stock will be supplied for loading at a particular terminal. The plan is made by control in the early hours of morning and reviewed by operating officers. So there is daily conference in the morning by the operating officers with the control office and a plan is made in the early hours regarding all these activities. Changes in the plan as deemed necessary are made at various stages on the basis of updated information received from activity centers, adjacent divisions, and instructions received from headquarters. So whatever changes are required in the plan on the basis of updated information, or if there is any change in information from any adjacent division, or there is any change of instructions from headquarters, then the plan is changed accordingly during the course of. The goods operation plan is executed on the basis of actual materialization of the forecast with suitable adjustment made for shortfalls exercise. So we have to materialize whatever forecast has been done. Following are actively involved in execution of the plan. Yards, loco sheds, stations, terminals, lobbies, EXR depots. All these, they are involved in materializing the forecast and the planning which has been done on daily basis in the morning. The trend of the day's position is reviewed by the chief controllers and officers in the afternoon. Detailed review of the previous day's performance is carried out early in the morning by operating officers with the following objective. So the previous day's performance is reviewed by the officers in the morning by talking to the respective controller. In the following objectives, that is analyzing shortfalls of previous day to take remedial measures and pinpoint weak spots, and to provide data for planning for the current day. The main features of performance which can be reviewed include interchange failures if there are any failure in the interchange commitment, then divisional wagon balance, it will be reviewed, train running, whether trains are running smoothly or not, disposition of empties, whether there are any empties for disposal, loading at important terminals, and in case of shortfall, reason for the same. Whether the loading has been carried out as per the forecast or not, whether if there is any shortfall, then what was the reason for shortfall in loading. This has to be reviewed. Then review of unusual occurrences. Whatever unusual occurrences were there on the previous day, they have to be reviewed. Then examination of control charts. All the control charts are examined by the operating officers and the controllers so that they can be analyzed and remedial actions may be taken wherever required. And particulars of stable load, they also require to be reviewed. Then yard performance, whether yards are performing properly or not, whether there is any congestion, whether shunting is being carried out properly or not. The performance of yard is also reviewed. Unloading on the division is also reviewed, whether the brakes placed for unloading, they are timely getting unloaded or not. Registrations and loading, whatever indents, registered indents are there, whether loading is being timely done or not. Then power position, utilization of locos, terminal detention, all these things are monitored. Sick line working, whether the sick wagons, they are being promptly placed, and after they are made fit, they are promptly removed or not. Special type of stock, if there is any special type of stock in the division, then it is also monitored. Then clearance of piecemeal wagons, sick or otherwise, from roadside station. If there are any sick or other wagons, may be fit also, lying at roadside stations, then they have to be cleared from that roadside stations or may have to be taken to either a yard or a terminal where there is requirement of such wagons. What are the telecommunication facilities available in the control office? Extensive, efficient and reliable communication network is necessary for the efficient functioning of the control organization. Following telecommunication network is available in control offices. Voice network is available. Then hotlines are provided between headquarter and divisions, adjoining division and railways. The hotlines are provided so that there is immediate communication, there is no interruption to communication. There is a dedicated communication channel available for the hotlines. The intercom facility to various officers and other functionaries concerned with the control is connected with important work centers with STD and trunk exchange. So intercom facility is also provided for the officers and the various controllers working in the control office. Then there are deputy control lines. This circuit is provided between various functionaries in the control office, stations, important work centers like yards, loco sheds, crew booking office. So they are provided separate control lines so that there can be uninterrupted communication between all these activity centers. There is a section control circuit. This circuit is connected to all stations and the section controller, chief controller. There is a traction power control circuit also. This additional telephone circuit is available on the electrified sections. This is connected to the traction power control. In OHE remote control center, all stations control office and selected workplaces. So all these are connected by the traction power control circuit. The section controller or TPC, that is the traction power controller, can also be contacted from the emergency socketed provided on the sections. There are along the tracks you will find that there are some emergency sockets provided where the running staff, either crew or guard, they can use a portable control telephone and communicate through those emergency sockets by using the portable control telephone. They can communicate with the section controller or the traction power controller. The section control board. The section controller of each section is provided with control board with telecommunication facilities for coaching stations, certain important cabins, big freight terminals, loco shed, etc. So these telecommunication facilities are available in each section control board. For the guidance of section controller, the layout of all the station siding is painted on a large board. So in each section control board, you will find that there is a large board provided in which layout of all the stations and sidings of that section, they are available on that board. The station layout diagram is also provided with details of holding capacity of each of the running and non-running lines. And if there are any gradients and signals at the station, they are also indicated in the layouts which are provided in section control board. In electrified area, OHE sectioning diagram is also provided. Section control board is also provided with the OHE sectioning diagram. This depicts elementary sections in different colors and other details of sectioning post and subsectioning posts are available in all in those OHE sectioning diagrams. Now, graphs and plottings. Trains are plotted on control graphs which consist of horizontal and vertical lines representing distance and time respectively. Alongside the vertical lines, stations are spaced to a uniform scale. The stations are spaced to the same scale as per their actual distances on the vertical line. Each 1 hour is first divided into 6 units of 10 minutes. Each unit is further divided into 5 smaller units of 2 minutes. So the smallest unit is 2 minutes on the time axis. Each control graph at the end of shift may have the following information on it: the name and total distance of the section in kilometers, that is mentioned on the control chart. Then distance in kilometers between each station on the section, that is available on the control chart. State of weather, how was the weather, whether there was any rain, whether there was any fog, that is recorded on the control chart. Engineering restrictions, if any engineering restrictions are there, they have to be recorded in the control chart. And code names of each stations are mentioned on the control chart. Time lost by each train on locomotive, traffic or engineering account at or between stations. So any train losing time, it is recorded on the concerned control. The section controllers are remarks. They are also made against item D. What was item D? Item D was regarding engineering restrictions. So the section controllers remarks are also made against the engineering restrictions in the section. Then time made up by each train or locomotive on traffic or engineering account. If any train is making up any time, that is also recorded on the. And guard's record of time lost on loco, traffic and engineering account at or between stations and remarks. So whatever guard, if the guard is reporting the various detentions of locomotives and trains to the control office. So those reports or those comments which are given by the guard to the control office, they are also recorded on the chart. Any other general remarks which are required to be recorded on control chart, they are given by section controller. Signal failures. If there is any signal failure in the section, it has to be recorded on the chart. Then in plotting various types of trains, the colored pencils shall be used as per extent command. The types of trains on the chart. All up trains are plotted from bottom of the chart upwards from the left diagonally towards the right, and all down trains are plotted from the top of the chart downwards and diagonally from the left towards right. So all the up and down trains, they are plotted. For judicious crossing and precedence, it is necessary to have plotting of passenger trains at least 1 hour in advance, depending on traffic density in easily erasable lines. So the passenger train forecast, since the passenger trains, they are moving on a fixed time as per a fixed schedule, so their plotting can be extrapolated, and in advance we can know that yes, the passenger train will come at so and so station at so and so time. So accordingly, judicious crossings and precedences can be planned. Now through computerized charting, it is automated. Now we don't use any pencils and rulers for preparing the chart. We are using computerized charting, which is done electronically. On certain selected control, this function has been automated. So all these functions for charting, they are now automated. What are master charts? For every section, master charts indicating trains running in 24 hours are prepared, which show the running of each mail, express or passenger train over the section according to its scheduled running. So all the passenger, mail, express trains, they are plotted in the master chart as per their scheduled timetable. In between running of the trains carrying passengers, path for goods trains are marked down. So since the running of trains, mail, express and passenger trains is available in a master chart, we can plot the path for goods trains. They are helpful in revision of timetables and planning the running of any extra train and guidance of section controllers, and should be displayed on the boards to which they refer. The master charts are displayed in the section control boards so that the section controller can find out a path for any train, any extra train which is running, and if any timetable has to be revised, then also the master charts are useful. This is an example of the master chart. It is a master chart of Vadodara Surat section. So you can see on the vertical axis all these stations, they are plotted as per their distances between them, and on the horizontal axis it is the time. And the red lines, they are depicting all the mail express trains, and the blue lines, they are depicting passenger trains. Now, there has to be coordination between the control office and the station. So, in order to avoid detention to passenger trains for crossing, line clear inquiry for the less important train must not be asked until the train is ready to leave and until the section controller's permission has been. So, any train, if it is not so important, it should not be, its line clear should not be asked, and if there is any other important train in the section. And if the train is to be dispatched, and if line clear is to be asked for a particular train, the section controller's permission is to be. The station master receiving the line clear inquiry must immediately ask controller's permission to give line clear before giving the reply. Station master who is being asked line clear from the other station, he should also consult the section controller for giving permission, for his permission to give the line clear to that station. The station master on duty is entirely responsible for seeing that necessary G&SR and station working rules are observed before giving line clear. So it is the responsibility of station master to observe all the general subsidiary rules and the station working rules before giving line clear. When a station master for any reason finds it difficult to carry out controller's arrangement to receive the train in a yard or a station, due to yard station constraints, he must explain his reasons clearly and put it to the controller. So if there is any constraint in receiving any train, or if there is any issue at the station, then the station master has to explain it to the section controller regarding the reasons for if there is any constraint. The permission of the controller must be obtained before performance of any shunting. If any shunting is performed at any station, the section controller's permission is required. The controller must be informed of the likely duration of shunting to enable him to arrange any crossing or precedences at the station. So it should not be there that a controller is planning any crossing and precedence and he is not aware about any shunting operation at the station. All the shunting operations, they are also required to be informed to the section controller. A control order regarding crossings, etc. The section controller will give definite instruction for crossing and precedence and will not change them except under unavoidable circumstances, because last minute change of order will result in confusion and unsafe operation. So whatever instructions are given by section controllers, normally they should not be changed except in very exceptional circumstances. The instructions given by section controller should not be changed because they may lead to confusion and any unsafe operation may be there. The station master is entirely responsible for seeing that crossing is effected safely and strictly in accordance with the rules. The controller must see that sufficient time is available for the necessary operations to be carried out. If the controller fails to do so, the station master should represent that the delay may occur, but it does not allow him to disregard any rules in order to avoid such delay. So, delay is acceptable, but unsafe operation is not acceptable. The station master has to explain the delay. If there is any delay, it has to be explained, but no unsafe operation should be carried out. Now, let us have some discussion about the traffic working order. What is traffic working order? The traffic working order is a set of detailed instructions which are issued by the operating officers in case of any pre-planned work of signaling, electrical, or engineering department has to be carried out. In such cases, a traffic working order is issued. The circumstances, if there is any requirement of speed restriction for more than 1 day, then TW is issued. In case there is any addition or alteration in the layout of the yard or permanent signaling interlocking arrangement, then TW has to be issued. If any overhauling of signal and lever frames is required, then also TW is issued. If there is any temporary cessation of working of trains, if any trains are required to be cancelled, diverted, etc., for any work, then TW has to be issued. Then construction of all new installations like new station, FOB, OHE, renewal of track, temporary divergence, etc. For that, TWO has to be issued. Now, who prepares the TWO? The concerned supervisor, maybe P-base, signaling and electrical. He prepares a draft TWO which contains pre-planning of the work, and it is submitted to the concerned officer, maybe the concerned engineering officer or signaling officer or electrical officer, so that the draft TWO can be scrutinized and approved. And after that, the draft TWO is sent to senior DOM or DOM, which are the operating officers, who issues the final TWO, including all the rules regarding safety precautions which are required to be observed, and if any regulation of traffic is required, like diversion of train, cancellation of train is required, then all those provisions, they are included in the TWO, and final TWO is issued. What are the details mentioned? The number and date of TWO, subject of TWO, these are mentioned. Then the nature of the work, mentioning the details of the work to be undertaken, these are mentioned. Then date of commencement, when will the work start? That is also mentioned in the TWO. Duration of work, for how long the work will continue, what measures will be taken for protection of line, what are the particulars of speed restrictions, and details regarding issue of caution orders. If any caution orders for the speed restrictions which are required to be imposed, then their details are also available in the TWO. And procedure for working of points and signals, it is mentioned in detail in the TWO. Then procedure for train movements in abnormal circumstances. If there are any abnormal circumstances, then how the train movement will be carried out, it has to be mentioned in TWO. Then details of the work which will be undertaken for blocking of line and cancellation of trains during such block has to be. Procedure to be followed in case of blocking the line of field telephone. If any line is to be blocked on telephone through a telephonic message, then what will be the procedure? It is mentioned. Details of officials to whom copy of TWO is issued, it is mentioned. Procedure to be followed on completion of work. What procedure will be followed after completion of work? And validity of TWO. Generally, it is 3 months. The validity of TWO is 3 months. So that is also mentioned in TWO. Then responsibility of station master, it is also mentioned in detail. The TWO has to be properly acknowledged. It has to be kept in TWO file and entered in TWO register. Subsequent messages have to be kept in TWO file. All the train working staff has to note the TWO. The concerned supervisor has to issue a notice to all concerned 48 hours before when he proposes to start the work. So 48-hour notice has to be given to all concerned so that everyone is ready for the work. All the arrangements required can be made. So after receiving 48-hour notice, it is repeated to Chief Train Controller through Section Controller by a private number for acknowledgement. The station master must ask for additional staff as mentioned in TWO. Some additional staff required is mentioned in TWO, and the station master has to arrange that additional staff for that. And when the work is to be started, the work in charge will give related message to the station master. The work in charge, who is taking up the work, he will give a message to the station master that yes, I am starting the work. The station master must ensure that necessary additional staff, equipment, etc. have been arranged. All the required staff and equipment should be arranged before starting the work. Caution order message should be acknowledged. any particulars regarding blocks, etc., they are to be recorded in TSR in red ink. And no train is allowed to enter the block section except the material train. When there is a block, no train will be allowed to enter the block section except if a material train is required, maybe for ballast, rail or sleeper, then it can be allowed. All the signals, they have to be disconnected and the line has to be protected by a banner flag or stop collars. Before moving the block, safety certificate should be obtained after completion. Before removing the block, a safety certificate has to be obtained by station master from the concerned supervisor after completion of the work. Necessary precautions have to be observed before starting the movement of trains. So this is regarding the traffic working order. Now let us have a brief look at the maintenance blocks which are given by the control office. The maintenance blocks, they are required by engineering department for maintenance of track, bridges, LC gates, etc. SMT department also require maintenance blocks for signaling, points, track separating. And electrical department requires for OHE laying of electrical cables. Other blocks may be required for passing of ODC, that is the over-dimensional consignment, etc. So some maintenance activities, they can be carried out without block also, which may be with or without speed restriction, like manual packing. It can be done without any speed restriction, without any block, and drilling holes, providing boards. All these activities, they can be done without block. While some activities, they require blocking of traffic, which may be blocking of complete traffic or a particular type of traffic like movement of goods trains, movement of double stack containers. That may be blocked. What are emergent blocks? These blocks are taken under unforeseen circumstances, like if there is any rail fracture or any rail failure or immediate replacement of rail is required, or if there is breakdown of the OHE line or pento entanglement. The pantograph you must have seen over electric locomotives, it gets entangled with OHE sometimes. So in that case, emergent blocks are taken. There are routine blocks. For routine and planned maintenance, routine blocks are taken like track maintenance, machine blocks for, these are the various track machines which are used, TTM, Unimed, BCM, then PQRS, TSR, deep screening, TRR, etc. These are various track works which are carried out through routine blocks. Then signaling and telecommunication maintenance, maintenance of points and crossings, disconnection of SMT equipment, OHE maintenance, routine repairs of OHE components, changing contact wire or catenary wire. These all activities are carried out by routine blocks. Now, what are integrated blocks? To avoid frequent blocks by different departments, integrated blocks are planned in which all concerned departments, they carry out their maintenance work simultaneously. So we can in one block, all the departments, they can carry out their works simultaneously, so that the disruption to the traffic is minimum. Why is integration important? Getting maximum output with minimum regulation of traffic. Different departments require different kinds of work of varying duration, and at times maintenance pertaining to one department involves the other department necessarily. For example, the bridge work may require slowing of OHE due to crane operation. In bridge work, crane is required to be operated, so slowing of OHE may be required. Then working on points and crossing generally involves both engineering and SMT department. So since the integrated blocks, they are pre-integrated, so better planning can be done by all the departments to get maximum out within the block period. Now, some shadow blocks may also be given. What are shadow blocks? If a block is granted in a particular section or block section, then the traffic will be regulated. Library?
लाइब्रेरी बंद है उसका ये अमल बन जा रहा है
अच्छा मैं आ रहा हूँ 5 मिनट. The regulation will have shadow effect in the adjacent block section. So if any station or any block section is blocked for a particular maintenance or any other activity, then the adjacent block section will also have shadow effect because of that block. So during that shadow effect, some other maintenance activity can be carried out out in the adjacent block section. This is called shadow block, which can be given in adjacent block section for other blocks. So this is all from my side regarding the control office working. I'll see